Hi everyone, welcome to our webinar dedicated to the checkout basket. So for anyone that's unfamiliar that maybe hasn't switched to checkout yet, checkout is our latest e-commerce basket, or cart if you prefer, that provides, it's really like an online booking option for you customers. So using checkout, you and your customers can book courses, buy products and services. You can pay up front. We've got a wide selection of payment gateways, including Stripe, Opeo, Adyen, WorldPay. It supports discount codes. You can process bookings as provisional if your customer hasn't paid up front. There's price schemes, waiting list bookings, language translation. It's a very powerful basket. Today we're going to be looking at how you can get the most out of it. We'll probably be covering features that you're already using, so things like branding and the registration form. But we also probably cover things that you might not know about yet, like integrating Google Analytics and following up with customers who abandon their baskets. Now, everything we're covering today is available in our off-the-shelf platform. There are no additional costs, modules, or add-ons to access any of these features. So this means that if you are already using the checkout basket, you can get started with them right away. So I'll hand over to Hannah now, who's going to take you through today's agenda.
Fabulous, thanks Jenna. So today, to help you get the most out of your checkout baskets, we're going to be looking at how to brand your basket and the best practice around this. We'll talk through 3 places in checkout where you can capture information about your customers and how to optimize this. Then we'll show you how you can follow up with your customers that don't complete their bookings. We'll talk you through how our integration with Google Analytics works. And finally, we'll wrap up with a quick tour around some useful configuration options to get the best baskets set up for you and your customers. We will leave some time for Q&A, so please submit any questions you have as we go, and we'll do our best to answer all those at the end.
Yes, lovely. So as usual, a little bit about us before we jump in. So I'm Jenna, Access Planet's Customer Education Manager. So you might recognise me if you came along to Connect 2024, or if you joined the Access Planet community between 2014 and 2018, because I was the Implementation Manager here then.
And I'm Hannah, and I'm one of the customer support advisors here at Access Planet. So if you've been in touch with our support desk, chances are we have worked together on any questions or problem knowledge requests that you've submitted through to us.
Yes.
So let's talk about why branding your checkout basket is so important. Primarily, it's all about brand recognition. When your customers see consistent branding throughout their experience, it reinforces trust. It reassures them that they are on the right page, booking with the right company. We strongly recommend doing this in a way that matches your checkout basket with the rest of your website as much as possible. This provides a streamlined experience that feels professional and cohesive. But brand recognition aside, a well-branded basket fundamentally is more appealing, which then feels more enjoyable to use, which gives the illusion that it's easier to use. So putting some love into your basket branding all leads to less dropouts, less confused customers on the phone to you, and hopefully more sales. So I'll hand over to Jenna now to show you how to make that work.
Yes, thanks, Hannah. So there's 3 big areas you can control within your basket to really reinforce that brand identity and match your website as much as possible. Those are colours, fonts, and the header and footer. So we'll start with colours. So branding your basket with colours is key for consistency and user experience, and number one thing is you should always match your brand colours to create that really cohesive look. So talk to your marketing team, get those specific brand colours. But today we want to talk to you about the other considerations you should make when deciding on what colours to use. So first of all, accessibility. It's really important that you meet contrast standards just to make sure that your basket can be read by as many people as possible. And we've got some examples, or some bad examples, sorry. So first of all, we'll show you that bad accessibility example. Here we are. It's a really gorgeous colours. This one, it's nice, isn't it? So this pastel blue, pastel purple, it's very pretty, but it is not accessible at all. Anyone that has slight vision issues or people that are using mobile devices might really struggle to see what this white text is saying over the top of those buttons. So that's not great for accessibility. The next point we want to make is less is more when it comes to colours. So definitely stick to a simple palette. Here is an example here where we've got quite a lot going on. It could be a little bit overwhelming when you use too many colours. So a little bit of a rainbow going on here, which again, it looks pretty funky. It's a good look, but it's not a great look for a basket. The user isn't being drawn towards that login button as the call to action. There's a lot going on the page. The final thing is being mindful of standard kind of colour conventions. So red typically signals danger, cancel, exit, it's your way out. whereas green and blue typically are used for positive actions like continue and confirm. So if you work with those standard color conventions, you can really kind of ensure clarity, prevent confusion. So if we look at this example here where we've got them the wrong way around, someone's going to fill in this login form and they're going to be pulled towards that register button instead of the login button. Their whole page is going to refresh to show them the registration form instead, and then they're going to have to flick back again. So causing potentially quite a frustrating process for them. Final example is ticking all of those boxes. So here we have appropriate color contrast on those headers and on those buttons. We haven't got a big rainbow going on. It does match our brand, and probably the area that could be improved a little bit is that call to action. So the login button is definitely brighter. It is more pulling than the registration option, but it could probably do a little bit more if we're being honest. But yeah, that's a good example. So that's colours. Let's talk fonts now. Most important thing when you're looking at fonts, and we're talking about the basket here, but also we'll come on to header and footer in a moment. The most important thing is to choose web-safe fonts. That means that they'll be widely supported across lots of different devices and browsers. You want to focus on readable, ideally sans serif fonts. So we see commonly used a lot, like Arial, Helvetica, Open Sans, that kind of thing, just because they're really clear to read. Definitely avoid overly decorative, complex fonts, because especially on mobile devices, really, really tricky to read. And then the final thing is be consistent. So limit the number of fonts that you're using. Make sure they align with your brand's visual identity, because all of that feeds into that really like clean, professional overall look. Again, we've got some examples for you. So just kicking off with Courier New, which is a web-safe font. So this is suitable for some brands. Generally, it can be a little bit hard to read though. So unless this is absolutely one of your brand's signed off fonts, I'd probably err away from this one. It's like quite a chunky, it makes buttons quite big. But yeah, that's a bit more of a personal opinion. One to absolutely avoid, the decorative fonts. This is Brush Script, I think it is. Not legible at all. If you've got someone who is booking with you for the very first time and they land on this, they're going to really struggle to see what your buttons are saying. And yeah, just a very frustrating one overall. Final example is one that is actually my favorite one. So a lot of people use Arial, Helvetica, Verdana, ones we've mentioned before. This is Roboto. I'm a big fan of this one. I think it's a really clean font. The letters are nicely spaced out, makes it really easy to read. So definitely experiment, but probably talk to your marketing team as well, because they might have some very specifics you need to stick to. All right, final area on branding is headers and footers, and they play a really crucial role in your basket's design. So we've put together a bit of an example just to kind of show you through the key things to make sure you're including. Obviously, similar to what we said before, use brand colors. We've got the brand logo in there as well. That all plays into that consistent, kind of streamlined website to basket experience. In the footer there, we've included the payment gateway badge. So you see that powered by Stripe. That's really good to kind of build trust with your customers as they're going through the basket, but it also makes kind of the basket experience a lot more predictable. So they know when they get to payment, how they're going to be expected to be paid. Some of our customers in the past have put some SSL security badges in as well to really assure their customers that the data is going to be safe that they're putting into the basket. And then last thing that you absolutely should include is contact information. So we've got that in the header there at the top right. This is really important in case any of your customers face issues. They've got that easy access to support. That's really reassuring and really increases the likelihood of them completing that transaction. Of course, in the bottom there as well, we've also added in terms and conditions, privacy policies, some social links. That all adds to that kind of continuity from the website. So where is all this set up? How can you make changes to all of this? So you can find all the branding options within the checkout options page. So if we are in the platform, head over to administration at the top there, and within here we have the checkout options page. Now this is a super admin page only, but once we're in here, you head to the training provider options, find your relevant training provider. We just have the one. Head over to branding, and then at the top here we have that header and footer. Make your changes directly in line here, upload your images, make changes to text. And then all the rest of the branding options are below there. And you can see that we've not filled everything in. Only fill in the options that you feel that you need to. That's how you help avoid that kind of complex branded rainbow effect. Cool, that's it for branding.
Thanks, Jenna. So quite a lot of customers that we work with enlist their marketing team or their web team to help them with headers,
Yes.
footers, and their branding options. That's worth bearing in mind if you don't have those skills in your training admin team.
Yeah.
So let's have a look at capturing customer information within your checkout basket now. There are a number of points within your basket where you can collect information about your customers, and with each of these you need to find the balance between capturing enough information that's going to give you the data that you need while not scaring away your customers with drastically long forms.
Nobody likes a long form.
As a rule, it's best practice to only request details that are truly necessary. This helps to avoid overwhelming your customers and keep the process quick and efficient. It minimises fields, also supports data protection by reducing the amount of personal data stored.
Yeah.
Remember, the more streamlined form, the less likely it is to cause frustration or abandonment, leading to a smoother, more positive experience for your users. I'll hand over to Jenna to take you through the points in checkout where you can collect information about your customers. As she goes through them, I'd recommend just keeping in mind what information you currently capture within your checkout, because you may be able to make some changes to better support your process, customer experience, and possibly compliance.
Yeah. Lovely. Okay, so there are 3 points in checkout where you can collect information about your customers. So of course, the obvious one is the main registration form. This is used when you've got a brand new customer and they're registering with you for the first time. Next is the create delegate form. So this is available to admins and your customer managers, and they use this to create extra users when they're in the basket to be delegates on the course. And then finally, there is the manage booking form. So this is an optional form. It's available at the very end of the basket process. And this is the only one where you are updating information about existing users or people rather than creating new users or people. So we're going to kick off with the registration form. So as I mentioned, the registration form is where you capture details about new customers. So that will always be the person that's booking with you. So we call that the booking user or the booker. But then optionally, most of our customers also allow them to register with their company details too. So you're registering the booker and their account. You can define your registration form in the platform per training provider. So this means if some of your training teams need to capture different information to others, that's absolutely no problem. And again, registration form builder is all accessed via the checkout options page. So we're in checkout options, head to the training provider area, right click, and it's registration form. So in here, we've got a form that we've already put together. It's got the mandatory information, email, password, first name, last name. Lovely. And we've also got some optional extra fields in there too for job title and is that specialty? Yeah, specialty, that's a custom field. And then we've added in the option to register company account details at the bottom called organization name. Each option can be relabeled, can be set to mandatory optional. And yeah, that's how you can, and you also drag and drop your options up and down the form as well. And as Hannah kind of mentioned before, really important to not ask for too much information here. Really consider what your business needs and leave it at that. So this quite simple registration form, we've just got that mandatory information, a couple of little bits extra, and then the organization name capturing account details at the bottom. This is how that registration form will look. So it's very simple. It's just a list of things to get filled in, quite a basic form, really. What we're going to do now is have a look at how we can improve this form to make it easier to kind of visually process. So a couple of techniques. The first one is grouping those options on the form together. This is to really reduce cognitive load. So here we have a quick example. We've added a header at the top for your login details. We've also got another header a little bit lower down called your details. There we go. And this uses the rich text option in the builder. So you see that on the left-hand side, rich text. If we hit add, that's going to add it to the bottom of the form. And then we just edit it and we can put in whatever text we want to have inside our reg form. So this will just be called your organization details. And then we'll just turn that into a header. There we go, header 3. And then confirm that. And once that's in place, we can drag it to where we want it to be on the form. So we'll just pull that up on top of the account options. So that'll be our new section header. So that's the first thing, is grouping. The second thing is this hide show checkbox, and we have added one into the form already. So there it is there. Would you like to register with your organization details? And this hide show checkbox is going to show those account name, phone number fields on the form when someone's checked it. So when they haven't checked that box, it's going to tuck that option away if it's irrelevant at the time, so that your registration form's not going to be cluttered up with options that just aren't required. So how do those changes look? There we go. So although the form is going to be a little bit longer, we've got a lot more structure to it. We've got those headers to break up the various different options on the page, and then those two organization fields right at the bottom have been tucked away. They're not going to be displayed until that hide show checkbox has been ticked. Cool, so moving on to the create delegate form. So this is the form that's available to administrators and customer managers, and it's used to create new users during the booking process. So the form is really used when someone's making a booking and someone they would like to book on doesn't exist in your platform yet. So it looks like this. Hopefully you've seen this before. We are adding delegates to the course, and then just underneath is where we've got the area that we are creating our delegate. So I would always say with this, less is more. In this example, we're just capturing first name, last name, company name, and email address. Really anything that is absolutely essential for us to know about these delegates and to be able to communicate with them. Keep in mind that with this form, you might have a customer manager who is booking with you that needs to create 5 to 10 or maybe even more users during their booking. So the easier you make this process for them, the less likely is that they will drop out. So where is that create delegate form? Just in checkout options, jump down to the create delegate information section, and then you just need to check which options you'd like included. Would you like them to be mandatory or optional? Just check boxes, it's really simple. You can also rename the account name option. So if organization name or charity name, org name, company name, whatever makes the most sense to your customers, and then just save at the top when you're happy. So that's the create delegate form. The final area where you can capture information about your customers is that manage booking form. So this is the optional one. And this is really your opportunity to update data and collect information once the pressure of checking out is over. So we'll show you where that lives first of all. So the manage booking form appears after payment. So if we are in checkout, we make that payment, the booking is complete, payment is secure, we can now fill in the manage booking step. So any information that we've already got in the platform is going to pull in automatically, so you don't have to type it in again. And then you just fill in the blank. So as the booker user will just go in, fill in any information that's missing, correct anything that is not right. So just make, is that Alistair? Give him a dietary requirements and shoe size. Since the last time Alistair booked, he's been promoted, so he's now a senior. So that's good. And then save. That's our booking complete. So that's where the managed booking form lives. Where it gets set up is super similar to the registration form builder, and it looks very similar as well. So we're back on checkout options, head to training provider options, right click your training provider, and then it's that manage booking form option. First thing is just make sure that the form is enabled at the top, just that little checkbox, and then you can just add the options in. You can use custom fields if you would like. Each option can be relabeled, set to be mandatory or optional, like the reg form. And also you can select for some options to only be displayed when certain courses are booking. So here we're saying that shoe size will only appear when someone's booked onto a mental health course. I don't really see the correlation, but the option's there if you need it. You can move options, delete options, and then just save at the top when you are done. Cool.
Fab. So let's move on to talking about abandoned baskets and why following up on them can be a real game changer. Let's have a quick poll. How many of you sent out emails to customers who abandoned their baskets?
Yeah, well, this is the first time we're using polls, so bear with us. That's the one.
That is the one.
That's the one. Okay, let's see. How many of you are sending out abandoned basket emails so far?
Oh, we've got one.
Okay, it's a 50-50.
Oh.
Okay, it'd be interesting to see for the people that are sending out abandoned baskets, if there's anything that we're going to cover today that you want to add into there. All right, it's
Oh no,
All right, we're leaning no, but a lot of people are already doing it. That's awesome. That's great to see. Great to see.
Brilliant.
Nice.
So it's completely normal for customers to get distracted or change their mind during the checkout process. I've done that a million times.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that the sale is lost. By following up on an abandoned basket, whether through an email reminder, a discount offer, or simply just asking them if they need help, you're giving them the nudge they need to come back and complete their purchase. This is a small action that can make a big difference in recovering sales that might have slipped through the cracks and show your customers that your business matters to you.
Yes, absolutely. So if you decide to start sending out basket emails, or for those of you that are already doing it, here are a few top tips we recommend including just to kind of maximize that engagement, recover lost sales, that kind of thing. So a few top tips. First of all, the email must include a reference to what the customer was purchasing. So include the content of the basket. It just reminds them of why they were in your checkout basket in the first place, what they were considering buying, as well as kind of making the email relevant, of course. Next, this is possibly the most important. So this is to put a lot of care into the content of the email. It should really be non-intrusive. It should be personalized, so always include their name at the top, and really it should be branded. So just like the checkout itself, brand recognition here is so important. It covers that kind of familiarity, security, and that feeling of professionalism, cohesiveness, all that good stuff. Next one is optional. So it can make a big difference though. Offering discount codes, especially those that are only valid for a short period of time, can create that kind of incentive and urgency. Just going back to the last point though, we don't want to be intrusive about it. We want to be nudging people. So yeah, discount codes is a great thing. But then additionally, what I've seen recently in a few emails that I've received is including quotes or testimonials from previous customers. Kind of builds up that trust and makes you more likely to commit and complete that booking. And then finally, the timing of this email is so important. We'd recommend sending it within 1 to 2 hours of the basket being abandoned. That means the purchase is still fresh in your customer's mind. And then you could additionally, if you want to, send a follow-up 48 hours later if they still haven't checked out. Again, I'll make this point one more time. We want to be nudging customers lightly, not being overly intrusive. So really 2 emails is max really there. So let's have a look at the example that we've put together. So it's probably not the best example in the world, but should give you a bit of an idea of the areas to be checking when you think about your email. So you can see here, we've got clear brands, logo at the top. We've got personalization. We've got the name of the person who was making the booking. And then of course, we've got the basket content pulling in as well. So you can see that we were booking the emergency first aid at work and the mental wellbeing course. So let's just scroll up a little bit. Just underneath that, we've got our incentive and our urgency. So we've got our discount code there and it's only available for a limited time. And then underneath that, we've got the complete my purchase now. That's the call to action. That's the easy navigation back into the basket to complete the booking. I would actually say looking at it now, that could be a lot bigger. That should be the thing that we're directing customers to. So definitely that call to action, make it big and bold. And then what else have we got in here? Underneath that, we've got our social proof, our indication that your courses are excellent. This is obviously a made-up quote from the very lovely Jason Squash, who is also made up. Just saying how easy the courses are to follow. They're packed with valuable content that you can apply instantly. Thank you, Jason. And then underneath that, I'd always recommend including a way for them to get in touch with you if they're struggling. They might have abandoned the basket because they're confused or they're having some technical issues, and that sale is there. They just haven't been able to do it themselves. So how has all of this been set up? So we've got an email template and a workflow that we'll show you. So first of all, we'll find that existing email template. It's just called Abandoned Basket, and we'll show you how we put it all together. So very important, the module needs to be checkout basket. That's where we're getting our information from. We've got a clear and simple subject line. So book a full name, complete your booking with us. And then let's have a look at the email. Dear book a full name, got that personalization. We've got the basket item summary merge field. That's what's pulling the basket in. And then that complete your purchase now. That's using the quick link at the top. So quick link, visit basket, that's the option you want to put in there. And then of course, we've got that social proof, we've got the contact support, and that's it. Save and close when you're happy. Now the workflow, we just edit that. Obviously, this also needs to use the module of checkout basket. That's where we're getting our information from. Then let's have a look at the rules that we've put in place. So we've said that the basket needs to have a status of active. That's important. It needs to not be completed or having a payment happen. They need to be buying at least one item, and the booker ID needs to not be empty, aka they've logged in. We have a booker to contact. In the action, we're saying 90 minutes after the basket was last updated. We're sending it to the booker's email address, and our email template is that email template we were just looking at there. That's it. It is dead easy.
Great, thanks, Jenna. So next we're going to talk about something really powerful, and this is integration your checkout basket with Google Analytics. By connecting your basket to Google Analytics, you can capture valuable data about how customers are interacting with your basket. Whether it's tracking which items they add to their basket, tracking your customer's journey from your website through to your basket, or tracking dropouts, you'll have all insights to understand your customers and potentially further optimize your baskets. If you haven't worked with Google Analytics before, or if you haven't used it in a few years, our integration is with the new Google Analytics 4 called GA4. GA4 focus on event-based tracking, which means that you can report more closely on specific activities that your customers are completing, such as adding items to their basket. The previous Google Analytics tracked user sessions. So basically, each time someone opened your website, it tracked that session, whereas GA4 tracks users over time. This means that you can better understand your complete customer's journey, their interactions, allowing you to provide a more comprehensive and personalized experience to encourage returning customers.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, let's talk about access, how the checkout basket fits into all of that. And honestly, as Hannah was just saying, GA4 tracks users over time. So this Google Analytics integration is the most useful if your marketing team are already, or if they're planning to, track user behavior in your website. So if they're already doing that, they're already tracking your users, accessing your websites, navigating across pages, kind of identifying those journeys, then adding in the tracking into your checkout basket just completes that picture, because it provides the data on how your customers interact with the basket, kind of closing the loop on that whole journey, because they reach the end, they make that purchase. Lovely. It is still useful in its own right, but that's really where it comes into its own when you combine it with the website. So the integration tracks two types of events. It tracks when a purchase happens, and it tracks when items are added and removed from the basket. And the outcome of these actions is useful information fed into your Google Analytics account so that you can report on things. So just got a quick snapshot, but the reporting options in Google Analytics are comprehensive. So this is just an example. So we can track things like new customers, their engagement time, total income, that kind of thing. And then, as mentioned, if you have your website set up, then you can track your customers from your website right through to the basket, and that uses a feature called linked domains. Now, this integration, it doesn't require any developers or any coding, but it is quite technical. It's very like finicky. It's quite a technical setup. So we've put together a comprehensive guide that steps through each part of the setup in detail. So it'll look a little bit like this if you head over to our knowledge base. And then just to give you a bit of an idea, here is a snapshot of the guide. So it just takes you through every single setting and what to set. So yeah, but do just get in touch with our team if you have any issues or are struggling with it.
Brilliant. So now we're on to the last section of the day. We're going to wrap up with some honourable mentions. Yes. These are configurations options that are available to you that we think are particularly helpful to tailoring your checkout basket for your customers. Often these smaller changes are the things that really make a difference to your customer experience.
Yes, absolutely. So yeah, as Hannah said, these are small changes. They take seconds for you to change, but they can really make your customer's journey through the basket that more relevant to them. So we're going to start with a really easy one, which is just date formats. Now there are a range of date formats for you to choose from, as you can see from this drop-down box. My personal favorite is the one we've got selected here. It caters for a lot more audiences because we've got the month in, well, letters in text rather than as a number. So you're really catering to that US audience if you have customers there. But I'm a fan of the 24-hour clock rather than AM PM. So yeah, there we go. But we'll show you how you get all this set up. So the date format options are just in checkout options. You just scroll down to that date format. and just make the change in there. So we're going to choose the Wednesday, 28 October one, just include that day of the week. Lovely. And then once you've got it selected, just save at the top. Then we will open up the checkout basket and we'll reload it to show you how that works. So there we have 24/10 at the moment, reload it, and now it's Thursday, 24th of October. And that's it. That's so super simple.
So next we're looking at how you can hide the cost values in the basket when your customers are booking free items only. So again, this option is within checkout options page. So check the option hide costs and payment options for free courses and then click save. And if we reload the basket, you can see that because all the items in the basket were free, there is no longer a reference to cost or payment. This reduces the chance of confusion about payments, especially if you offer free courses.
Lovely. Oops, excuse me. Okay, so then on to the other end of the finance scale. So you can control when the PO number option shows in your checkout basket and also what it's called. So let's have a look at that. So the PO options are tucked away a little bit further. They're under training provider options. So you just right click, head over to finance options. And then in here, you can choose, would we like a PO number to be displayed? If we do, is it for all payments or just invoice? Would we like it to be mandatory? And would we like to provide an override label? We'll go with purchase order number. Cool. So we've made it mandatory, label purchase order number for invoices only. So if we continue through to the payment, you can see there's no PO number option at the moment. And if we select backs, it's still not there. But if we choose invoice, there it is. It's mandatory, relabeled as purchase order number, just like we set before.
So our final configuration is the default billing target. This is all about pre-selecting who is expected to pay for the booking. It doesn't mean it can't be changed, but this is to hopefully save clicks and some thinking time for a large percent of your customers. With this option, you set whether the billing target at the end of the basket will be pre-selected as the booking user or the main account. Depending on what is more likely for your customers, whether people tend to pay through their organisation or whether they tend to self-fund, will determine which option works best for you here.
Yes.
So this option is on the core checkout options page. If we set it to booking user's main account,
there we go.
There we are. Then save, open checkout. Our booking user is Almeta. So if you move on to the payment step, we can see that Almeta's main account has been pre-selected as the bill to. If we had instead chosen booking user, then Almeta would have been selected as the bill to.
Yeah.
It's always it can always be adjusted booking by booking. This option is just there to save some time and some clicks.
Yeah. All right, that wraps everything up. Thanks, Hannah. Awesome.
So thank you for all your time today. Here is a roundup of everything that we've covered so far. So we began with some best practice around branding your basket so that it matches your website, included contact information, and if you take online payments, the logo of your gateway is recommended. Then we looked at the registration form, the create delegate form and the manage booking form, and the best practice around collecting customer information. We then had a look at how we can contact customers that abandon their baskets in a friendly, useful, but non-intrusive way. We talked about how you can integrate your checkout basket with Google Analytics account, which is especially helpful if you've already tracking user behavior on your website. And finally, we looked at smaller configurations that can make a big difference to your customer's experience, including the date format and PO number behavior. So let's move on to some Q&As.
Lovely. Okay, so over to you guys. Do you have any questions for us? We have got some ready to go, things that we get asked quite a lot on these topics. So we'll cover those first while we wait for you guys to put some Q&As in there.
Yeah, so some of the common ones we get asked is what happens if we select to hide costs in checkout, but our courses have costs?
Yes, good question, because this is quite a new feature. So if you choose to hide costs in checkout, and then you are selling a course that has a price, the costs will show. This new setting only kicks in when all the items in your basket are free. So either you only offer free courses, or it just so happens that someone is making bookings on only free courses at that time.
Fab. So can I include custom fields in the registration form and manage booking form?
Yes, you can. So you can include both user custom fields. Sorry, user custom fields can be included in both forms, both the registration form and the managed booking form. But a lot of people don't know that you can include booking-based custom fields in the managed booking form as well, which is quite cool. And that's solved quite a lot of kind of problems for people in the past, which is neat.
But can we turn off the ability to skip the managed booking step?
No, you can't. And this is something that we get asked for a lot. So this is for your customers' user experience. And we felt that it was really important to keep this as an option. So one of the main purposes of the managed booking step is so that people don't drop out during registration or create delegate if they don't know information. So if that booking user is booking on 7 people and they don't know everyone's date of birth, you can put that in the managed booking step so they can provide it at a later date. So you can trigger emails to people who haven't filled in the managed booking step with a direct link to fill it in at a later stage when they have all of that information. In the meantime, the booking's secure, payment secure, and yeah, customers happy as well because they've got their places booked on.
Fabulous.
Cool, let's have a quick check of the Q&A. No open questions, lovely.
So if there's no more questions, we can move on to upcoming events.
Lovely.
So before we let you all go, here are the remaining 2 webinars that we've scheduled in for 2024. So we've got Jack on getting organised using tasks, notes and dashboards. That's on Thursday the 14th of November at 10 AM. And our next one after that is must-have data grid filters. So this is Jenna and our new CSM Frank on the webinar. And that's on Tuesday the 26th of November at 2 PM. So stay tuned for our 2025 webinars.
Lovely. Yeah. So speaking of 2025, last month we announced the details of our customer event Connect, which we ran this year, but we're running it again next year on the 12th and 13th of March. And this year we're having a big focus on platform knowledge sessions. There's a lot of feedback from this year's that it would have been good to have more platform knowledge. So that's what we're working towards. So we can also announce we announced a 3rd session recently. So far, we've got Stu confirmed. He's going to be taking us through how you can set up your trainers for success, which is cool. Then our very own Jamie will be running through a session on how you can brand your email templates. So if you're still sending out like plain text emails, this one is an absolute must. And then our latest announcement is our very own Hannah is going to be covering some top tips on platform navigation.
Yes, so I'll be running a top tips and tricks session on navigating around the platform. We'll be talking dynamic labels, section headers, breadcrumbs, searching tips. So it's going to be really good.
It should be good, isn't it?
Yeah, so if you'd like to sign up to Connect, tickets are only £20. And if you book before Friday this week, so what are we on? We've got 3 days, you'll qualify for a free welcome gift on arrival.
Nice.
You can book via our website or get in touch with your customer success manager.
Lovely. Yeah, so if you'd like to know any more about Connect or you want to book on, you can scan that QR code at the top of the slide, have a chat with your customer success manager or go to that webpage. But we'll be announcing more sessions over the next few weeks, which is exciting. So thank you everyone for taking the time to join us. We hope you found it useful, hope you got something out of it.
And if you'd like any support with checkout, please get in touch with us on the support desk via our support portal. We do not bite and we will help.
Cool, thanks everyone.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.